Ooh, here we are.
Nice.
Okay. We're going to chat about blankets.
It is a blanket kind of day.
It's been a blanket kind of month.
I know. Like, if
and
you
a half.
stay at home, what do you want to do? You want to cuddle under your blanket. And since we haven't had any decent weather...
We've had one really nice day, but then now it's cold.
Just cold all the time. I'm freezing. I did turn the heat up. I hope everyone's okay with that.
You did have a hot flash, though.
Those are short-lived.
That's
How was your morning this morning?
It was okay. I mixed up some cookie dough because I have people in my
What
house
kind
who
of
like
cookie
to
dough?
eat. I did an oatmeal recipe with, I added, the, what's it called, Reese's Pieces things
Oh, okay.
that were in the Easter basket.
Oh, there's a
Decided
good
to
way
put
to
those
use
in
that.
some cookies instead of eating them all like that.
I did walk by all of my sweet treats. I walked by my pumpkin cookies, my almond puff pastry, and my raspberry cake. I walked by them and I glanced and I kept going. And I didn't bring them to work.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, your house is pretty close by, so it's good
my
to
main
know.
problem this morning was my hair. Now that it's a lot longer than it ever used to be, trying to figure out
At least
how
we're
to
all
fix
in that
it.
together.
Yeah, but I have a unique problem in that I'm short and everyone can see the top of my head.
Oh.
Don't look.
Okay, that was an automatic. It's like the telemarketer. Please do not hang up.
Click. Okay, let's talk about blankets. Why are we talking about blankets?
Well, because we decided kind of at the last minute, as we do with most things these days, that a blanket knit along during the COVID era would be a great idea. It was kind of prompted by Barocco doing a drop ship thing.
And this thing.
And this came out a few days ago, this stay-at-home blanket. But, we're all kind of in this mode of wanting to do something or needing to do something to keep our hands and minds kind of comforted and calmed. And blanket knitting is perfect for that because it's pretty repetitive.
Yeah,
you can choose from a billion blanket patterns that are out there. And that's kind of what we're going to put out for our blanket knit along. We're not going to say we want you all to do the same blanket, but we do have some ideas, which is pretty much why we decided to sit here and talk at you today.
And when you call us if you want to purchase the yarn from us, well, we hope you do, 10% off a blanket quantity of yarn. So, unfortunately, we can't do that on the website. So, although some of these yarns are on the website, but we can't offer the 10% on there because we are not smart enough quite yet. So, anyway, that's...
But the other thing about blankets is a lot of them can be something that you dive into with stash. So we'll talk about some of that too. So you could, if you decide to do a big blanket or a small blanket, look at your stash. Maybe you have a few holes to fill in, and go that route too. So anyway, we've got some ideas.
Okay. So the first one is this one. It's called Safe at Home. And this gal, so her name, here, you hold that.
Okay, sorry.
Her name is Margaret Holzman, and she's done quite a few designs, and a lot of them are really nice. But this one she actually designed specifically because we are all at home. So they're pretty cool little houses. You make it in strips. You're going to learn a few techniques, like you'll be picking up some stitches, but I think there's also some intarsia. But it's completely garter stitch, so I think it's something that everyone can handle. And so the strips are going, like down the block, basically, not
so
up
you
and
do
down.
a long
So,
strip
yeah,
of houses,
yes,
and then
yeah,
it's really cute.
And so the yarn that we think might be a great yarn is the Germantown.
Yep.
And we can put together a kit for you, so you don't have to worry too much about. She's got specific colors listed in her pattern, and she obviously knows that not everybody's going to use what she recommended, but she does recommend kind of using the color ideas so you can get that contrast and stuff in there. So yeah.
Some people really love having those formulas, and others don't really care. So
right.
But we like
so it would be great for stash, and she does have a Facebook group too devoted to this, and it's growing exponentially. It's getting to be a very big group. People from all over the world are making this blanket.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
really fun. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the Take a Sunrise blanket from our friend Mary Lee at 5410 Studio. So Mary Lee has lots of really nice blanket patterns out at her website, 5410 Studio. It's all spelled out. She has, and we did have a trunk show of hers. So she's a Kansas City-based designer. And what we really love about all of Mary Lee's patterns, here's another one, is that she has done all the math for us, and she talks about baby size blankets all the way up to big. There's probably 6 or 7 different size options for people. So all you do is look at the yardage, you know, it's the same pattern, but she's done all that math, so you don't really have to put a ton of thought into the planning process. But this one is the on the porch. Oh, you're going to talk about that.
That's okay.
But yeah, and this one came out. She released this one just a few days ago, and it's a free pattern.
I love the polka dots.
She did it just with this, you know, all of our quarantine situation, the stay-at-home kind of.
And the yarn we're doing for that one is the Spud and Chloe. Oh, that's right here.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, and this Spud and Chloe is
Sweater?
from, Spud and Chloe sweater. Sorry, but it is a 50% superwash merino and 50% organic cotton. And the colors are, I mean, these are really fun colors for those, but really any of them are going to look good. And there's lots of neutrals too, so you know it's going to be a great yarn, and it shows off that stitch work really nice. It's pretty crisp.
We like this too because of the polka dots.
Yeah,
That's just kind of fun.
polka dots really fun.
Classic.
Yep.
But any one of Mary Lee's blanket patterns, we encourage you to take a look. And you could also do it as a pillow. I mean,
The nice thing I like about all of her different sizes, really, I mean, if you want to make a baby blanket, I feel like the baby blanket, the smallest size is perfect because honestly, I've had babies in my life lately, and they're not letting them have like crib size blankets anymore, which yay for us knitters because that takes forever to make. A baby sized one is a lot more doable in my estimation. So
These are good. So this sample that we've had since day one was knit with Chistari, and this yarn, I know we've talked about it before.
well, we love
Can
it.
go in the washer
Yep.
on gentle and the dryer, not cooked, but
It's
then you want
not-
to dry it flat.
It's not super wash, but
it's not. It's
Mr.
merino.
Chistari promised us, and we have put it to the test.
Yeah.
It can go in the wash on a cold, gentle cycle.
Right. So that's awesome. And all of the yarns we're talking about would work for any one of these patterns
blankets.
too. And mix and match or whatever for color. So that is something to keep in mind. But anyway, this particular one was knit with Chistari. Yummy. Okay, what's next?
Well, log cabin.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
fun.
All right. You
Okay.
show the book.
Log cabin. That's great.
Well, here's
Okay, we've got lots of log
lots
cabin.
of samples. So this is
If you've never done a log cabin before,
You're so fancy.
this is supposed to be a pillow.
Oh.
If you've never done a log cabin before, this little field guide from Mason Dixon is a nice little how-to. I have done several log cabin blankets over the years. Those
Yes.
are sort of in the
I have
works.
one in my car.
Yeah.
It's a lap blanket.
So log cabin quilts have been around for a long time too. A lot of people probably are familiar with those. So this log cabin I did a long time ago for my oldest child, and now it's back at the house, and we still love it.
so anyway, we also have the one from Julie.
Yeah.
That's
down here.
That's on the floor.
did you show the book?
Yeah, here's the book.
All right.
So the log cabin field guide talks about the quilts, but they start with just a little dishcloth.
Well, and this is
Versions?
very similar. So, because you used Noro
Mm-hmm.
on that, and so did Julie. So these squares are just, one colorway of.
So Julie, if you take, so lots of log cabins, like the one that I did, it's like you start with a square and you change color of yarn and build on it that way. The Noro log cabins, you would just use a hank of Noro, and you get all that fantastic color change without like changing your yarn and weaving in ends that way. So, and then Julie did this and in strips, and then it's set up in the black, which is a pretty traditional log cabin
She
thing
did
to do.
say that the borders were a little on
The black was
tricky
tough. This
side.
little pillow that I did and have not finished, even though it's been around for quite a long time, I set up in the white. So anyway, but it's fun. Noro is a great yarn to play with.
Yeah, show the other one.
Are we getting off track?
Nope. Lizard Ridge is next.
Which is next.
And you
Why is this here?
as an example for Chistari,
Chistari.
that's our building blocks quilt.
Maybe we
can
could
talk
go
about
back
that.
to that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
So-
since here's Noro though.
oh, okay, all right.
Another idea for Noro is this whole book of beautiful blanket patterns using Noro. So, yeah. That, I
Okay.
mean, that's totally, we could
All right.
sure pop that in the mail to
Yep.
you with some beautiful Noro
So,
to get you going.
Lizard Ridge is a quilt that I did many years ago, and when I first was introduced to Noro. And if you know me, you'd know why. I just fell in love with all the color. It's just so incredible. It's all in one skein. So this is a well-loved blanket, so you might see a little bit of pilling, but
Not really. It looks
Yeah.
really nice.
and it really, it's probably at least 10 years old. We use it every day. It's by Laura Ayler, and she actually designed this pattern specifically for Noro because it had, a certain length of color before it would change again. And so this uses short rows, and I became what I would call, in my house maybe, the queen of short rows, because I could probably do this in my sleep. So this would be really fun. You can knit it in squares, you can knit it in strips, or you can knit it all the way. Just kind of depends on you. I liked squares because it made it super portable.
Yeah, well, that's a great example of Noro in its full glory. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Okay, what's next?
This one right here, this Together Again, which we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have a sample, but we wanted to highlight some of our chunky yarn. This is another 5410. It's called Together Again, and we're suggesting Ultra Alpaca. So this is a really nice 50-50 alpaca and wool blend, super soft, and some great colors. Once again, because it's 5410, she's got all kinds of sizes. So, but look at the fun texture. It's really fun. It might
Together
go
Again, that's a
wrong way
nice,
there.
an appropriate name right now. Together Again.
Yeah,
that's very
yeah,
nice.
that's a good.
Yeah, cool.
That'll happen. It'll happen.
And this, this gauge would be an awesome log cabin too. Just it's nice. This is a good yarn for
Certainly,
that.
things grow faster when you use your bulky yarns.
And then if you want to, a log cabin is a fun way to use up stash yarn too. But then in my head for a long time, I've had this concept, which is a total stash buster. It's called the Traveler's Life Afghan, and I finally started it a couple days ago. So you take and you do a big long strip of garter stitch, and leave ends, and every 5 to 10, then you're gonna tie fringe.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So, and this was Stephanie Pearl McPhee. Here's a couple pictures.
Phone.
Yeah.
We'll call you
We'll
back.
call you back. Leave a message. So, in her book, Stephanie Pearl McPhee casts off, she talks about the Traveler's Ridge cardigan, and she talked about it kind of as a,
I'll have to look at that. I don't think I have seen that before.
you could just make a scarf too, but there's quite a few pictures of it out on Ravelry, and she talked about it as like your knitting scrapbook. You go through and just look at your leftover bits of yarn, and you can look at each one and say, oh yeah, that was that sweater, or that was that blanket, or
I
that
feel
was
like
the...
it might match your log cabin that you made for art, because I'll bet there's some.
And there's a lot of these too are very color themed, you know,
like they plan it out.
they plan it, and it's, you know, because some people like
it makes a
shades
good like
of
temperature
gray.
blanket.
It sure would,
Yeah, where
so,
you change the colors according to the temperature.
And so, you know, who knows how long I will make this, how big it'll get, but it could go on and on. We'll see.
And on and on and on.
And on and on. And we've got Let Lopi here as another really good blanket option.
And it's nicely priced and lots
Great
of fun
colors.
colors. And the longer you use it, the more you use it, the softer this gets. It is kind of rustic, and we've had a few people say it might be too rustic for them, but I think they need to be patient, blocking it, and then just using it. It's going to make
gets
it
better
really
with
soft.
use. And it would pair really nicely
Oh yeah,
with Noro.
really nice. Like yes, the way that we've got the border, that would make a great border.
Yeah.
It would be, the colors are really really ripe for
Let
Noro.
Lopi is awesome. So we do have drop ship options that Barocco and Chistari are doing. So
And if you're not familiar with how the drop ship thing works, basically.
touch your face.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
Did I?
talking to myself.
oh. Dropship is something that some of our vendors have offered because they know that a lot of shops like ours are not really able to be open for the public, so people can't come in, so they're finding a way to get the yarn to them. And so basically we would order the yarn for you, but then they would actually send it to you. And it's a great, we just are really happy about that. So Barocco is doing that. They're the ones that have the Ultra Alpaca. So we have that here, but we don't have every one of their yarns. And we sent an email out yesterday. We'll send another one out tomorrow. And they have a new blanket pattern called Nora's Vintage Afghan, and so it's got all these different squares, but they've created color kits. So be sure to look at the email for all of that. We'll do that again tomorrow. And then Chistari is also doing it. We carry almost all of their colors in their Mount Vernon, which is what we carry for them. But there's a lot of other colors, and so there might be some colors that we don't have. So
Or maybe getting low on some colors too. So
Yeah.
call us if we don't have it. We can work with you to get it.
Don't be
directly
afraid
from
to
them.
call us, because we're more than happy to do what it takes.
Here's another example
you
of
happy.
Mount Vernon Chistari knit up into a blanket. So Becky's been doing, we have the Block of the Month club going, the building blocks based on Michelle Hunter's book. And we did this sample with, actually Becky did it all. With Chistari. So
We encouraged her.
now we have a third group going. They're kind of doing it virtually now, but we've seen a lot of Chistari out into the blanket knitting world again for the third session. Yeah. It's nice. It's really squishy and a great texture.
And
Blankets are awesome.
it's not going to pill. I mean, it's knit in a little tight little bit of a gauge, and so
Yeah. It's awesome. So you can call us. You can look at our website for colors. You can order on the website. We could do probably a retroactive kind of gift card discount if you do a web order for a blanket. Just kind of send us a message about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and then we will deliver it to houses. We've done that. Curbside pickup is still going on,
And that's our
obviously
curbside. So come to our curb and we'll give it to you.
Yeah, and
But we'll run it
that's
out.
worked out good. We just miss seeing everyone. It's
I know.
crazy, and
I know.
have a love-hate relationship with Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do a Zoom meetup on Friday.
We'll set up a product for the blanket kit, the blanket knit along on the website, so we know who is going to do it, and we'll send you a Zoom invite once we start getting those registrations. So
Fun.
yeah, fun.
Yeah.
And wow, thanks to Ashley for helping us do this.
Yep. I feel like this one was much more cohesive
yeah.
than our
I
five
do
years.
too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So we'll
Take
hopefully
care, everyone.
we'll see everybody soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.